Hello and welcome. My name is David Bizant and I'm going to be taking you through an introduction of PebblePad, which is a piece of software that we use at Sheffield Hallam University um, to support students with electronic portfolios. So you might be familiar with students previously with big LibreArch files, completing large amounts of paperwork that they then have to collate and look after and keep as a portfolio of evidence. Well, we use this software called PebblePad, which allows us to do that, but to do it electronically. And this is where students will be able to keep their information. So this now that you're looking at is the PebblePad homepage. So if you just type into Google or search for PebblePad, this is where it will bring you. There's lots of good and general information and videos on their website if you want to go and have a look. And there's also in this top right hand corner a login option, which is somewhere where again you might want to go and use to access students' portfolios, but we'll go into more detail about that in future screencasts. Now, next we'll take a look at what it looks like for a student. So although you're not going to see this and you're not going to need to access it or do anything with it, I think it provides context to PebblePad, how it's used and how the students that you'll be working with interact with it. So this is when students log in, they all get their own personal PebblePad account. Their own area where they can start any work or evidence that they're collecting. And the home page looks very much like this. So what students will do is they will go to their asset store, and this is where all their work will be. And I'm going to, as a student, continue working on my my portfolio, and this one is here. And when I open it, as you can see, it's laid out very much like a website. So again, students have options to save. Across the top, it's a little bit like a website with different areas. And then here in the main body, you can see that there's words and content for them to look at and to fill out. Now, as you can see down here, there's text that they can't alter, but then there's boxes and things that students can fill in and complete. So again, I'll just do that as a student, and then they're able to save that work and complete it. Now, if we go on to the summary page here, another page of the workbook, you'll see that there's some areas that have this sign here that say assessor only. Now, these areas when a student's doing their work, but they can't complete it. They can't actually input anything here. They can see it and they can see what's been put there, but only assessors can do that. Now that will include people in placements. It will include mentors, externals, assessors at part of Sheffield Hallam University. They will all be able to go in and edit it, but the students not able to be. So like I said, so there's sort of three main kind of key areas. There's a bit where the students are just gaining information. There's the boxes of which they're able to complete, and they could be tables or words, pictures, and things like that they can upload as part of their evidence. And then, like I say, there's in these other areas and boxes which you'll find where only yourselves, assessors, or people at SHU can complete. Okay. As a student completes their portfolio, and when they save it, so I'm just going to save this now. It is saved in another piece of software that PebblePad owned called Atlas. Now Atlas, you can see, is shown back with this symbol. And if we now go to an example Atlas site, it looks something like this. Now this is an area that you will be given access to. Now there's going to be another screencast which will go into accessing students' portfolios in more details. But essentially, this Atlas area is an area that you'll have access to where you'll be able to see a student's piece of work or portfolio. So even though the students working on it inside here, inside their PebblePad account, only they have access to it, but they will have shared this piece of work with Atlas. So you'll be able to see it in Atlas and be able to complete those assessor fields. Atlas is the institutional space, basically, where work can be shared for assessment. It's set out very simply. There's quite often an about page which tells students about Atlas. There's a submissions page where students can see the work that they've submitted for assessment. There's a resource page where they may find templates or other useful pieces of work. And that's basically everything that they get. There's also a management area, but again, you won't need to concern yourself with that. The name of the workspace is up at the top. So again, if you've been added to multiple workspaces, with a little drop down arrow, you'll be able to switch between those workspaces. And again, from the title, you'll be able to check that you're in the correct workspace. So that's a quick tour, an introduction to PebblePad. And again, how we use it and the way that students will use it to complete workbooks and bodies of evidence to submit as an electronic portfolio during their studies at Sheffield Hallam. Now, I hope you found that useful. If you have any other questions, you may find the answers on our support website, which is where you might have found this screencast. And there's also an opportunity for you to be able to ask any questions that we can then answer in our frequently asked questions section at the bottom of the page. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and that's your introduction to PebblePad.